for the B final of the AS men's single sculls. Over in lane 1, Jaroslav Keiling of Poland. He was in the B final of this event in Varese not long ago. Lane 2 is with Park Jun-ha of Korea. 2 seconds off making the A final in the earlier round. In lane 3, Rene Pereira of Brazil. He was 5th in Varese, so he made the A final there. Maybe disappointed to be at the B final here. Italy are in lane 4, that's Fabrizio Caselli. He won semi-final 2. Certainly been doing well so far. He was 5th in the World Championships last year. Over in lane 5 is Carlos Vysocki of Argentina, 5th in the semi-final in his round. And completing the field, Johannes Schmidt of Germany in lane 6, who won the B final at the World Championships last year, so surely eager to equal that record from last year. And there they go, the B final for the AS men's single sculls. Clean start across the board.
And this event had the greatest number of Paralympic entries, with 24 nations entering this event. Absolutely incredible. We saw the C and D finals just a little earlier, so the sport is growing, and the number of athletes who are competitive is really quite amazing. Brazil and Italy, both in the A final last year at the World Championships, finding themselves in the B final, so the strength of this category is really growing very quickly.
I think the Brazilian Rene Pereira is the clear favourite for this. I mean, when we watched those semi-finals yesterday, he was up against Eric Horry and the great Australian world champion, and he was second to him, just went through the 500 metres, just under a length down on Eric Horry, so he's really quick out, but of course he faded drastically in his last 500 metres. Up against the class of the likes of Eric Horry and Igor Bondar from Ukraine and Tom Aga, then he's not going to have the same problems in the last 500 with the quality of this opposition. But he's got to be careful. He's got pace, and the Brazilian will want to make sure of that slot.
Looking good over in lane 2, just a couple of metres behind the Brazilian is Park Jun-ha of Korea. So as I mentioned earlier, only 2 seconds off making the A final, so I see him being a strong contender as well. My surprise here is Fabrizio Caselli of Italy, who was 5th at the World Championships last year, starting to drop back down the field. I'd have thought he'd be up there contending for a leading place here, but out in front at the moment, the Brazilian Rene Pereira, and we've got a bit of hot competition for that Korean in Johannes Schmidt, who's just off the right-hand side of this picture, who's still very much in this race, not out of it yet.
And the Brazilian looking very, very strong there. Rene Pereira in the lead, about half a boat length up. He would certainly be going all out for this qualification position. He competed at the last Paralympic Games, obviously a home Olympics and Paralympics next year in Rio. So the Brazilians have really been making a very solid run in both their Paralympic and Olympic boat classes to try and qualify as many as they can.
2:22 through the 500 metres, and it is Brazil in the lead, followed by the 2012 Paralympian from Korea, Park Jun-ha. We're riding there with the Brazilian into the Crash B ergometer race in the States, and you can see his hands, Sarah just pointing them out, very heavily strapped.
Yeah, that's amazing. He must have some issues there with blisters or grip. It's very common in rowing. Because we're holding these rubber handles, it just literally wears away at the skin. You can see the white tape across his knuckles. So it is something that's characteristic of a rower. If you see them put their hands out and blistered and terribly painful hands, and it's something that we all bear throughout our careers. So you can see that taping there. It's quite remarkable.
It's painfully obvious to say, and he had a little wobble there, the Brazilian Pereira, but it's painfully obvious to say they use their arms, but if you look closely, you see really what they're locking on with the water are the muscles in their shoulders. That's the most powerful part of their body. And he is absolutely just trying to lock those big shoulder muscles. You can see the blue tape on his elbow, which is obviously been giving him some problems. And Peter, you've spotted something as the race comes down 300 metres to our right.
Yeah, what we can't see is that the Italian is getting back in this. So through the 500, under pressure was in lane 2, Park Jun-ha. But look, here's the Italian, Fabrizio Caselli. He dropped back to 6th after an incredibly slow start, and he's pushing back up the field, and he could even qualify his boat for the Paralympics. He's getting his nose ahead of Park Jun-ha for Korea now, starting to drop back the German, who we've barely seen anything of, Johannes Schmidt, in lane 6. He was contending for a place there, but this is an incredible performance from the leader, Rene Pereira, and moving up the field, Fabrizio Caselli.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Peter. What we can't see on the screen as the scullers come past us is how tight this entire field is. This is one of the tightest, certainly, para races that I've seen, and I mentioned the strength and the number of entries in this category, and to see a B final this tight from 1st to 6th is unbelievable. These 3 scullers, as the Italian comes powering down the line, I think he's going to make contact with the Brazilian sculler now.
This is so impressive. Rene Pereira really oomping through every single stroke. He's going to hold on to that lead. He's got a length up on the Italian Fabrizio Caselli, who in turn is now a length ahead of the Korean. So crossing the line here, Rene Pereira of Brazil wins this B final ahead of Fabrizio Caselli of Italy in 2nd. Park Jun-ha of Korea will place 3rd, followed by Johannes Schmidt of Germany in 4th. Carlos Vysocki of Argentina in 5th. And completing the field, Jaroslav Keiling of Poland in 6th.
Caselli really likes this course. You know, just a year ago he got a bronze medal here in the event. He's not going in contention for a medal, but certainly that charged through. And Rene Pereira, the winner, just signalling well done to the Italian Fabrizio Caselli. He just can't believe it. Look at that, you know. You're in the Paralympics, mate, going to Rio, and that's what you've got out of this regatta. 4:58, sub 5 minute time. So that's certainly moving some, and I think better than he did in the heats.
Well, it just shows the strength of mind that Fabrizio Caselli has there, to have been in 6th through the first 600 metres, and then to move up in the remaining 400 metres of the 1,000 metre course and take 2nd place and one of those crucial Paralympic qualification places. Really impressive. And what determination from this man here, Rene Pereira of Brazil.